The first question we always ask people is, why a trike over a two-wheel bike? And if you can't answer that question clearly, maybe it's not time for you to get a trike. And for me, it started years ago. I used to own regular bike shops. Back in the early 90s, I owned a bicycle and a ski shop. And I loved biking, I loved skiing. In fact, I loved mountain biking. That's back in the 90s, that's what we always did. And I would bomb down the hills at Squaw Valley. So I was a pretty aggressive bike rider. I remember one day, I was at my shop in Folsom and I was sitting at my desk and you know what happened? I dropped my pencil and I went to go grab my pencil and next thing you know, oh man, my back. I had this pinch in my back and I realized that all this fun biking and all this fun skiing and all the things I did as a kid finally caught up with me. And I'm only in my 30s at that time. I laid on the floor for like 20 minutes and I was in pain and I'm all like, what happened? And this was late at night. I was doing bookkeeping, super fun. Nobody was around. And I just laid there and I'm all, oh my goodness, is this like the end of me writing? After a while, my back kind of loosened up, but it changed my thought process. I was thinking like, what's gonna happen? Is this gonna, I mean, it felt like an axe was coming to my lower back. It was kind of scary at the point. Well, ultimately, that pain came for a long time. I had to go to chiropractor, I had to go to acupuncture, I had to go to physical therapist, and what I found out was my discs were getting flatter. And this stuff happens over time. For me, it happened a little quicker because I was a little more aggressive in my riding, aggressive in my downhill mogul skiing, right? I kind of beat up my body. Our bodies don't last forever, but a body in motion stays in motion. Well, here's what happened. I didn't stay in motion forever. I ended up selling off my bike shops back then, and I got into finance, and I sat behind a desk for 10 years. And you know what happens when you sit behind a desk? If you're like me and you love tacos and enchiladas, you get fatter, right? And that's what was happening. I was getting fatter and fatter. I wasn't looking my best. And then what happened one day is my friend had a heart attack. Well, he started to start writing again. He started to work out again, but he was way overweight and he had a heart attack. He waited too long was the problem. That was a wake-up call for him, but it was also a wake-up call for his friends around him. And so for me, I'm all like, man, I spent the last 10 years sitting behind a desk. If I don't get moving, something's gonna happen to me and I'm gonna leave my kids behind, my grandkids behind. I didn't have any at that time, but you know, it was a little scary. And so I started walking. I started walking like a couple miles a day. I was up to 5 miles a day. And then I got up to 10 miles a day. And I enjoyed the walking. But the problem is, remember, I was a downhill mogul skier, right? My knees were beat up. And then I couldn't walk that 10 miles. I couldn't walk that 5 miles. I didn't even walk like 2 miles. And I'm all, I need something that is less impact on my body. I didn't walk for like another couple years. By this time, I'm like over 60 pounds overweight. What happens when you gain a lot of weight? They say it's like your weight is 4 times the pressure on your knees. And so I'm feeling it. And I'm all, I gotta get that exercise. And so I went looking around for a way to exercise without having the mountain bike where I had to lean over. I needed something that wouldn't hurt my back. So I looked into the two-wheel recumbent bicycles, right? The two-wheel bicycles that are recumbents. But the problem is, it was under-seat steering. And then you had to balance it. I'm all like, I've been riding my whole life since I was a kid. I shouldn't need to figure out balance again. And so this two-wheel, I bought one, a used one, and I was riding on the bike trail. That was fine. But after like I did a decent ride, I got back home and I lived on a hill and I fell over. I hurt my elbow and I broke my brand new phone. And you know how much phones are nowadays. They're like $1,000 or something like that. They're not cheap. And I'm all, there must be a better way. You know what? I need 3 wheels. Now, I didn't want the grandma bicycles. They got the 2 wheels in the back, the one in the front, the basket in back sometimes, right? And they're upright. It's still like that big old butt seat, you know, and you're riding like this, and you're all like, oh my goodness, I'm old. But I wasn't old. I was still young. I still wanted to be, I still had that aggressive, like I want to ride, I don't want to just ride like 2 miles, I want to ride 20 miles. Here's what I did. I found a shop that had a 3-wheel recumbent bicycle. The one with the 2 wheels in the front and the 1 wheel in the back. We call those tadpoles. And then I sat on it and then I rode around in the parking lot. And I'm all, this is comfortable. And this is where I kind of came up with my idea, lazy boy with wheels, right? It felt wrong because it shouldn't be this comfortable. I didn't hurt, my back was all laid back and I'm all comfortable. I was able to ride again. I'm go ahead and I get a trike, I start riding, I start losing weight. And then I'm talking to my wife one day and my sister and brother-in-law with me and I said, hey, these things are amazing. And they're all, hey, you remember you used to own bike shops. You should get into owning a trike shop. The challenge was there's not a lot of bicycle shops that have recumbent trikes. And so if you guys are out there and you're looking around, there's like maybe like 20 dedicated trike shops in the whole nation. And so Laid Back Cycles is one of those. I said, I'm gonna open up a trike only shop. I lost over 40 pounds. And now I'm a lot more fit, healthier. And you know what? Probably over this last couple of years, a lot of us maybe gained a little bit of that weight back, and you're going like, maybe like my bike isn't as comfortable as I want, or maybe I have balance issues. There's a lot of reasons why people want to get into a trike, and it's either going to be balance issues, back issues, knee issues, neck issues, feet issues. It could be so many different things. For me, it was my back and comfort. The question is, what's driving you to a trike over a 2-wheel bike? There's always a reason. Like if I could still ride my carbon fiber Kestrel road bike, I would. I loved it. If I could go bombing down the hills on my mountain bike, I'd still do it. But you know what? At some point, we kind of go like, those aren't for us anymore, right? I'm not bombing down hills anymore. Or, like maybe it's balance issues or sore butt issues. You don't want that little skinny seat on a 2-wheel road bike, right? A recumbent trike, it has that comfortable laid back seat. I call them lazy boys with wheels. And so if you want comfort, stability, and you want to ride with ease, that's why a trike. That's why I got into trikes. That's my story about how I got into recumbent trikes. The question is, why are you looking at recumbent trikes? Why does it even interest you? And can you answer the question, why a trike over a 2-wheel bike? If you like these videos and you want to learn more about recumbent trikes, go ahead and download our free trike buying guide. It's in the description below.